Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Raw Men. Today, I am interviewing a heavy metal rock band. I am talking to Monster on Sunday. This is more specifically known right now as Steve and Tally Cass. Guys, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Fucking good.
How are you managing, being the heavy metal rock band and also being new parents?
Why not dive into the toughest subject ever? The parent part, that is. I thought we were here to talk about atheism, but no.
Well, we don't sleep ever. And
actually, surprisingly, shockingly, I think because I'm in this sort of like half awake, half asleep permanent position, I've been writing songs like crazy. Yeah. We literally just wrote 7 songs in the last few months for the next album. So actually, it's been going pretty good for the band.
We have 8 songs coming up for our next album. We don't know what the name of it's going to be. We have no idea when it's going to release. But we've been working feverishly on that. We're working on this video of the Reason Rally that we put together. And we're finally getting, well, that's what we're here to talk about today. So we've been getting a lot done.
Let's, by all means, let's talk about that. What aspect of the Reason Rally did you want to bring up?
Well, we headlined the after party for the Reason Rally. It was really amazing. It was a really cool experience for us to be able to go to a place where we had all these like idols like you, and so many people were there to support us. It was really shocking. All the people.
Well, we had David Silverman there.
Yeah,
we
in
had
the crowd.
Seth Andrews. No Illusions, of course, was there. There were so many people there. There were
Graydon Square.
Yeah. Insomniac. And then just a bunch of fans and new people who hadn't even heard about us. And it was
really cool.
One of the nice things about being in the audience for that particular show is, it's always a little embarrassing when, like, as a public speaker, when I have to share a stage with David Silverman, because he's a really excellent public speaker, but he sucks at headbanging, and I could really best him.
well, there's video evidence.
He might have to call you out on that one.
There's video evidence, and it's going to be in the release video that David Silverman was wearing earplugs.
Oh no! What? That's not right. You don't even wear earplugs, not even in practice.
Well, he was really into the show, so I could forgive him, and because he's David Silverman and he's a badass.
Yeah, he's forgiven.
Yeah, I enjoyed that show, and I think we mentioned in the previous conversation before I hit the button to go live that we felt embarrassingly unprepared for that metal show, in that we forgot to bring the kegs of alcohol with us and ended up having to wander the hotel at the dark corridors like in an old D&D game trying to find something.
The problem was the after party, and at the after party we had Ian Harris there, and we had the crew from the Scathing Atheist there. You were there, your wife was there, so we had a bunch of more people probably crammed into our hotel. The problem was that we didn't realize that the hotel didn't serve booze after like 10 p.m.
Yeah, how lame is that? Well, it wasn't the hotel. It was the state law in that state.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Something weird.
But and I had the perfect opportunity, and this is what happened. We got done backstage, and me, foolishly in my honesty, not realizing that we couldn't buy booze later, there was a unattended booze cart backstage that I could have grabbed like 5 bottles and brought them to our hotel room, and it didn't happen. But I thought maybe it would still be there, so I took you on the crusade to go backstage.
We wandered the catacombs looking for this particular treasure.
Yeah, we looked in every fridge in the back rooms. We looked in every corner. The booze cart was nowhere to be found, much to our chagrin.
In a seemingly eerily abandoned building.
Yeah.
That's right. We still have at the after party, but that was hilarious.
The management still got called to our room, so we must have done something right.
So I don't know a lot about you were talking about that you really appreciated the show and the audience and everything like that. What is a show normally like for you? What was special about that particular one?
Well, I gotta say, most of the shows we play, people do tend to be supportive because we do play generally within the atheist community, so they are generally pretty supportive. But that one in particular was amazing. People had heard our album already. They were singing it back to me. You could hear them shouting. We're gonna come out with a live performance video from that we've been working on fixing it up and making it like amazing with coloring and all kinds of things like that. But you could hear the crowd in it, and there's pictures of the crowd too. You can just see that they were so participatory in, they were just like joining in and just so exuberant. And then even after the show, we took pictures with them doing rock poses, and oh my gosh, it was the biggest blast ever. It was truly the funnest show we've ever had, for sure.
Now,
totally worth going out there.
I do a lot of public speaking engagements, and when you guys came up with your first album, you gave me the opportunity to sample bits of your songs at the ends of some of the videos. It has like the closing credits music. I really appreciated being able to do that with some of your music. And so I like went through the whole album and just like pick out stuff that, you know, like a handful of tracks that I really like this bit of that track, and I would tack it on the end of my videos and put the credits to you guys. And it was fun doing that, and it was a good sound. And of course, you know, I like to be able to put that kind of sound at the end of my presentations. So thank you for allowing me to promote you in the simple, humble way that I could.
Well, thank you for putting that on there. It was great. We got a lot of response from people that loved hearing our music, and just you know, it really helped get the word out about what we do.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been really interesting. We get a lot of great response from the atheist world for our music. Once they hear it, they're like, wow, oh my gosh, I connected with you so much on this or that song. And we had specifically from your show, people going, wow, I'd never heard of you before, and this song really spoke to me, and it was amazing. And so thank you so much for that. Right back at you.
It was my pleasure, you know that, and thank you for asking me. The one thing that the atheist community doesn't seem to have enough of is our own music.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think art in general, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, it seems to be much more geared towards more the intellectual side and speakers and things, which is fantastic because it's just an exchange of knowledge, which is probably the most important thing for the movement. But there is this whole other section of like creative people out there doing atheist creative things that we're very interested in.
And I guess for people that haven't heard about what we do, Monster and Cindy, we consider ourselves an atheist activist hard rock band. And all the songs that we write, we relate to the subjects that relate to atheism. So like childhood indoctrination, we have a song called Stardust where we talk about how, you know, Lawrence Krauss is a universe from nothing and things like that. We also have a song called Just Like You, where we kind of base it on Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion, that famous few paragraphs from a second chapter.
Which that is actually our only music video that we have right now is Just Like You. So if you do want to go to YouTube and search it out, you can watch a real music video with us doing that song.
How is it that you guys have only one music video?
They're expensive.
Yeah. You're looking at not only the band, but
a lot of money.
the record company.
It's just Steve and I. We're like you said in your article that you wrote reviewing our album, which is amazing. You said we're kind of like a mom and pop metal shop. We don't think of ourselves as that much metal, but I can see how people think we're metal, and it's totally fine. But the mom and pop thing is totally true.
The phrase "mom and pop metal shop."
I love it too. It's great. I love it. It's totally true. We literally, it's just Steve and I. We have a baby. We have normal full-time jobs. We got to deal with all this juggling and also make this band keep happening. And we just keep on going, and we just driving through it. We're just like driving through it.
Yeah, we do have support. We have people that have donated to us through our website and things like that. But the vast majority of this happens because we
pay for it.
We make it happen.
We make it happen. We do whatever it takes.
I would think
our passion or our love.
You mentioned having straight jobs and all that. I mean, I would think that being an atheist activist band might put some restrictions on the available venues. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and available venues, radio airplay, all sorts of things. We actually want to change that, and I think we're going to kind of once the word gets out and people realize that there's a lot of people that want this kind of music, and that it speaks to a lot of people on a very personal level.
Okay.
We have had problems with certain venues, but we've also had extra support from certain venues who were like, yeah, that's awesome. Rock. Yeah. Go for it. Like free speech, all of that. And atheist message. Amazing. I've never heard a band like that. That's amazing. We got to have you guys in. So, I mean, it just depends. But yeah, we've encountered a little bit of that. Like we're an atheist band and they're like, they'd refuse to talk to us.
I remember I used to go to a handful of shows in the punk scene back in the 80s. And they had this interesting little dive, which was like a kind of a small abandoned warehouse in this town I used to live in, where they brought people in. They brought in like junk furniture that had been thrown out in the desert. That somebody would go out and like pick it up. So there's like all this junk furniture that people could sit on, and there's graffiti all over everything. And there's like bottle caps ground into the carpet, and everything was so sharp and edgy and all of that. And they would have bands like Black Flag and
Cool.
the Dead Kennedys, and one that I loved, it was probably my favorite name for a band, Useless Pieces of Shit.
Nice.
I'll have to check them out.
But it just
I've not heard of that.
I liked the atmosphere of places like that. I mean, you talk about grungy. But
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously would have no issue with being all atheists. I mean, practically everybody there was atheist. It's just nobody knew to identify by that word. It's a funny
Probably.
thing. Back in the 80s, if you didn't buy into Christian dogma and were openly critical of it, you were automatically cast as Satanist.
Yeah. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing in the rock and roll world. But it's still even those bands that are cast as Satanists or whatever, they'll still thank God if they win a Grammy or something like that. There's still a big
it's so
stigma
weird.
within the music community, and I think America at large of being Christian or believing in God is the good thing to do, the right thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know about this whole good thing. That's the part that bothers me, is where people think if you don't believe in God, then how can you do good? It must be the good of somebody else working through you.
Obviously, we think it's bullshit.
Yeah. That was just an issue that I had with the way that people perceive that. And people will often want to do humanitarian activities, and atheists and religious groups will sometimes work together on humanitarian activities. And when that happens, I prefer that we kind of hold them that it's not God that's making you good. You're good anyway, just like I am, and you're just erroneously attributing it to something else, but it's really based on your humanity.
Yeah. Completely agree with that, for sure. Yeah. They're basically, they're it's that old saying, credit is where credit is due, or is that right? No. They're not giving credit to the proper place, which is themselves. They're pushing off the credit for their goodness to some other thing. And reality is they're just inherently naturally soft, kind, good people. But they go, oh, it's God made me that way. But that's not really the reality.
The other part of that confirmation
bias, they're not taking credit.
I've had people actually tell me that if I'm trying to explain something to them, like evolution or something, if I'm trying to explain something that I've actually heard that if I seem to be making sense, it is only because the devil is speaking through me, and he is the Lord of lies.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yep. That's pretty much what happens. The brain flips over into that, and it's like, don't go there. Come on. Let's just have a real conversation here.
Were you guys ever religious?
Well, I definitely was. And Kelly, not so much.
I mean, I've thought about this question a lot, and I would have to say no.
But that's fine. That's fine. But I am always interested in deconversion stories. I'll give you a brief reason why. I mean, when people tell you that they have accepted Jesus into their life or whatever, they converted to Islam, whatever the story is, it's always kind of the same story. It's always
Mhm.
a thing about, trading one addiction for another, that they couldn't figure out they couldn't figure out how they could take on a new hobby or a job or a more fulfilling relationship and change their lives that way. Instead, they've adopted this religious belief and blame that their whole reason for changing to this religion is because they used to be a crack addict, or they used to be an alcoholic, or they whatever, right?
That bottom of the well story, right? I was at the bottom of everything. I was
Uh-huh.
gonna die if I didn't find Jesus.
Yeah, or the other
Or
one.
childhood indoctrination, obviously. This is
Yeah, but
most
when people
gigantic.
convert to a religion, and when they
Oh,
say
yeah.
that they were a devout atheist,
Uh-huh.
and they used to have faith in rationalism, which kind of disproves their own argument, and then they prayed to God for guidance, and then He showed them that He exists. Well, if you're already praying to God, then you're already
Yeah.
talking to somebody like He's really there. That means you already believe it, so you're completely full of shit.
Well, I think if you're saying the words devout atheist, my radar pops up right there, because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
As it should, yes.
What the hell is a devout atheist? And
But the
you're
deconversion,
an atheist or you're not.
the
That's true.
deconversion stories. are
Yeah,
all-
there's a lot of. You know what I think it is? I think it's I think that's people not understanding at all what an atheist is or what it means. They just mean that I didn't have faith in God, or I didn't think about God, or I didn't go to church. Like, they didn't do whatever it is that the Christian religion taught them to do, and so therefore they're an atheist. But I don't think that's somebody who's actually thought about the question when they're saying I'm a devout atheist, or I was a devout atheist and I prayed to God. They're not somebody who actually thought about rationally whether or not there is a God. I don't think. I think.
And when people tell me, and similarly, then when they say that they were a diehard evolutionist, and yet they still today can't explain what evolution is,
Yeah.
or when they give me a parody of it that is so absolutely absurd that nobody could actually believe that, right? And you're going to tell me that this is what you once believed as a diehard, right?
A diehard, devout evolutionist.
Exactly. So, but as I said, the conversion to religion stories are always kind of the same, but the deconversion away from religion, those are wildly different. And the catalyst,
You have a
the
good
thing
one.
that changes somebody's mind, is, to my experience, listening to these deconversion stories, there's categories, but otherwise, I mean, there's like so many little different subtleties about what it was. Like with my wife, for example, the thing that the catalyst that started her to question her faith was when I showed her a picture of a pangolin, which is a mammal that has scales on it. And I for all the volume of information that I gave her, could never have predicted that just looking at a pangolin and becoming aware of a pangolin's existence could have had any impact. That's not something that I would have expected that would have done it. So people often say that it is reading the Bible, I think, is the number one answer, what makes people atheists. So I encourage all Christians to go out and read your Bible cover to cover.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The secondary one, you would think it would be science, but it's not. The secondary reason is, and this is again a category, not a specific reason, but the secondary one is the hypocrisy of the church or of religious believers. And then finally, science becomes tertiary. And then which science is it? Because again, the subtleties are that there's so many different explanations, so many different reasons, and the stories that people give for how they come about this, these are always interesting to me. So, Steve, can you share a moment?
Oh, absolutely.
How that happened for you?
Yeah, I don't know if these stories always have a moment, but mine happens too. There's two moments. There's the moment I got converted, and then there's the moment I got deconverted, and they're very related. So I grew up Mormon, and the Mormon church is all about that conversion experience, praying to God, asking Him if the Book of Mormon is true, and He's going to give you an answer. That's basically one of the big selling points that they try to get people who are religious to do, to try to convert. My parents had already converted right before I was born, and so I grew up in the church. But I remember that they would always prompt you to grow your testimony, as they call it, which basically means to have a conversion experience, to have a spiritual experience. And I had one. And I remember I prayed and I read and I did all the things that you're supposed to do. And it's really just brainwashing. You just do it over and over again until you get an answer. It's going to give up. If you spend a year trying to get an answer from God and you just convince yourself that you're going to, eventually you're going to. It's just.
And an important point to add to that is that it's not just that you're going to get your answer from God. The same thing will also happen if the answer you're seeking comes from the telepathic messages from extraterrestrials or visitations from your dead
it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to feel something and it's going to be amazing. And so you just tell your brain, well, I haven't felt it yet. I haven't tried hard enough. And then you talk to your leaders. Oh, I haven't felt it yet. And you'll feel it, blah, blah, blah. Later on, I've been playing in bands for a while and I stopped going to church and we started recording a lot. Sundays was the best day to record music. And
wait, this is way later on. Let me just mention you were a missionary for 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word.
You were big time Mormon.
I'm just talking about the two experiences. So
okay,
yeah.
But there's a huge major part there.
Yeah, there's a major part there. I was very.
He's fluent in Spanish now. Yeah.
Yeah, I went on a Spanish-speaking mission.
You did all that.
So
after that.
Yeah, after that, years after that, I eventually stopped going to church for a while, and then we were playing in bands. I met Tally. We got together, and she'd always ask me lots of questions because she's been an outspoken atheist for years and years. And at that point in my life, I had gotten to a point where I just couldn't talk about religion. I'd done the mission. I just something wasn't sitting right with me, and I couldn't face it. And eventually we read this book called Losing My Religion. And in that book, he talked about his conversion to Catholicism. And I noticed that everything that he felt was the exact same things I felt that I could remember from when I was 10 or 11, when I felt my conversion experience to the LDS church. And I realized in that moment that what I was holding on to, the only reason that I was holding on to any belief in God at all was for something that was in no way unique. It was just like this Catholic person that believed something that conflicted directly with a lot of my beliefs. And it could be just like somebody who believed in Islam or aliens or anything. That nothing about my experience, even though I felt it and it felt real, it felt amazing, at the time, nothing about it was special, and nothing about it was unique, and nothing about it could be rationalized as evidence that should be believed. And in that moment, I started to get very interested in people like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and watching lots of YouTube, and we read The God Delusion, and it just kind of kept going on from there until eventually we started this band.
Now, speaking of the band, how did that come about?
Well, why don't you tell the story? I've been talking for a while.
Oh my gosh. Well, Steve and I already had been playing in rock bands. We actually met in Tucson, Arizona. He was the front person, guitarist, and lead singer for his band. And I was the lead singer for my band, and we were rock bands, fellow rock bands, basically. We played shows together, so we met. And then we fell in love and did the whole thing. And then he was actually still kind of religious when we met. He was kind of on his way out, I think. But we read that book, and he just started to kind of go away from it a bit. And then one day... Okay, a lot. Well, one day I was researching music online. So I was just like, atheist music. I just had like this craving in me. I'm like, I want some good atheist music. I want like the Fuck God song or something. Does that exist? So I was just, researching on YouTube, just like, please give me something. And I stumbled on Shelley Siegel, which she's amazing. That her song Saved, really, I was like, look, I remember I ran into you and I was like, look at this. Somebody is doing this atheist song. Oh, it's so cool. And I was just so excited about that. And so I just kept researching, and I found like Bad Religion has done several songs on the topic. and other bands and things. Like NoFX has a song, and I just one day I kind of scaredly approached Steve and I was like, what would you think if we combined forces and we did an atheist band? And I was so afraid to approach him because I'm like, you know, he's barely out of the religion and he was looking for a band, and also doing a band with your partner is a little sketchy. I mean, you're married and you do a band together, and we work together, by the way. So it's like, well, this is like intense. But he said,
when you say work together, you mean that you're as yet undisclosed and not to be mentioned side job?
Yes.
Yes.
We manage something together, a facility. That's all you need to know. We manage a facility together. Actually, at the time, we didn't yet. Sorry. But we do now. So literally, we live together, work together, and it's crazy now. But anyway, so back on topic, I asked him. I was kind of scared to approach him with the idea, but I was gently like, would you think? And he literally and instantly was like, yes, absolutely. And I was like, really? I was so shocked. And I said, let's do it. And literally within, I think, 30 days from there, we opened for Shelley Siegel. It was literally like 1 month later, we opened for Shelley Siegel in Portland.
Yeah, we had no songs.
We learned a NoFX song, a Bad Religion song, this funny Richard Dawkins song. We wrote one single original at that time, which is our song Monster on Sunday, which is our very first song we ever wrote. That was the only original, but we did cover songs that are atheist themed that I had found. And we literally learned 10 of them just for her show within 30 days, and we played them at the show.
Yeah, we opened up for her, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
It was really just like, wow, our lives are changed. This is what we're doing now.
One of the things that I complain about American culture is that, like, we have so many songs. I mean, just everything, movies as well. You know, I mean, everything seems to reinforce the idea that when you die, that there's a soul and you'll continue on some way, and everything promotes faith, right? I mean, so we started with "Don't Stop Believing," "Hold On to That Feeling," and we went all the way to "Jesus Take the Wheel." And these sorts of cultural, these are cultural reinforcements of a phantasm, which is annoying to me. And I mean, there's a lot of songs that I really like will include elements in this. I mean, as you know, Ozzy Osbourne, for example. I mean, a lot of his music includes, I mean, he has songs about astral projection and I'll see you on the other side, and a lot of religious intonations, about the devil doing this or that or the other, and God is the only way to love. You know, as much as I like his music, I kind of have to ignore the lyrics on a lot of them.
Right.
Yeah, and I would rather not have to do that. I would rather that, and lyrics are not really necessarily important to me in a song. I mean, as long as I could actually listen to instrumental guitar all damn day.
Oh, wow. I can't do that. That is beyond my scope of rationality. I can't do it.
Well, it depends on the guitar.
You two are together.
I remember listening to Yngwie Malmsteen in his and one of his first times was Black Star, and I remember I loved Black Star. And then I was hoping the whole album would be like that. But then the next one, he brought out this singer, and it's like, Yngwie just needs to play. He just...
I have seen that, and I would agree with you on that. And yeah, you're right. I totally forgot that I did used to have this video of Yngwie Malmsteen that was amazing, and I would be mesmerized by him. I forgot about that. Sorry.
But, when you bring up
like so long ago.
Shelley Siegel's a great example. And then how many others do we have? We might have the odd single from some top 40 artist, that's questionable. Is it an atheist song, or maybe it is an atheist song, and most people somehow don't realize that it's an atheist song. Right. There's one R&B, I think it would be the category song. It's called What God Said. I forget who the artist is now. Don't put the blame on me. I'm doing what God said. I like that song, and it's clearly an atheist song so far as I can tell, but nobody seems to know that, and that's somehow how it got into the top 40. People seem to think it's a religious song. They don't realize that it's an irony.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it, and it kind of sounds like it from what you're describing. Yeah. It does kind of sound like it.
Yeah, well, I'll send you the link to the video. You'll probably like it because and especially when you think about the number, it became popular based on people thinking it was a pro-religious song when it's really, really not.
That's pretty funny. We should do some sort of like covert song like that, but ours are pretty blatant,
Well,
as you know.
I think, well, we actually, as discussed, the whole point is to be an atheist band and be out and to be open with people. Now, if that doesn't get us on the top 40, that's kind of what we have accepted.
Yeah, we've accepted that. We're fine with it.
We're fine with it. That's not what we're not, it would be great. We do want to be, to grow and to be able to be mainstream, but not by sacrificing the message that we have.
Now,
because
there's so many aspects of that message you could talk about too, by the way. I mean, it's not just beating people down for believing stupid things. So we can make this whole series of publications based on that, and we can promote rationalism a number of different ways. One of my favorite of the positive messages is I like the guy that's nobody's fool, who simply isn't going to believe preposterous nonsense for no good reason. And you can be there's a great deal of philosophy that can be explored, by promoting atheist philosophy. There's a lot of positive messages in the atheist angle, not just there is no God, so shut up, and when you die you're just going to rot, which is what most people seem to get out of this. But that leads to the next question. We talked about the last album, and we talked about the meanings of the songs that I was familiar with, that I had put on the ends of some of my videos and such. What about the upcoming one? What is the messages in the songs that you have yet for us?
Well, I would love to talk about that, but just real quick, you touched on something that is kind of important. This idea that, yes, I really do totally agree with you. Like, I could write songs about the horrors of religion all day long. Like, I could be in this band till I'm 100 years old and never run out of material. Stuff's happening on the news all the time that you see more things happening, that are gnarly, just based on religious belief. People getting stoned, and I mean, you know what I mean? Not that kind of stoned, but you know what I mean? Like gnarly things are going on out there all the time. I never would run out of material in this world. So,
but we do have a lot. We do have positive songs just from the first album, such as
and that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Believe in Yourself is one of our songs, and we just saw that Camp Quest picked that song up, and they created this really cool video in promotion of Camp Quest. And so we just want to give a shout out and say thank you. That's Camp Quest, Texas. And they made this whole video. It's just like our song pretty much, and then really inspiring things. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, I never thought that forming this hard rock band, it would be used in this way, but it made me cry. I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing to be able to be a part of something like this. And I was like, thank you so much for creating that. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So there is positivity in atheist messages.
But
for sure.
And on the second album, we have some like that too.
Yeah.
In the days where, I mean, like if you listen to heavy metal, then you're satanic, as we mentioned before. I mean, I've seen a lot of the negative satanic influences that kind of like fueled why I still look the way I do now, right? But it was actually the positive atheism that really stoked me. It was when I discovered Carl Sagan on the original series of Cosmos. I had never felt a connection to another person like that. I mean, here he is explaining things that actually make sense, and we can show are demonstrably true. And I'm actually understanding complex concepts that I'd only heard parroted by people who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about before. So how could the universe like poofed out of nothing? What kind of absurdity is that? How could anybody believe it? Well, you have to don't listen to the Baptist explaining what that's about. Listen to the scientists say that. So that was a moving thing that kind of changed my life.
And we kind of, Telly wrote a song about directly dealing with that was Stardust.
We always dedicate our song Stardust to Carl Sagan when we sing it. And it really was inspired, though, by Lawrence Krauss in his A Universe from Nothing. That's what inspired me to write that song, was that. But then afterwards, I did see the Cosmos and all of the stuff, and it was just amazing. So I'm like, we have to dedicate this.
Uh-huh.
And
And we have another positive song coming up on the next album. since you want us to talk about it.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, your original question.
Which is going to be called Supernova.
Yes. So Supernova was just a really excited idea that I had about writing a song like we've never heard before. This song idea about a person that you're in love with. It's kind of like a love song to this atheist activist type of person. So,
well, it's a
what do you want to say about
very positive
it's a very
view of atheism, and
yeah, it's super awesome. Like, I'm not sure what I want to say about it yet. It's
well,
so new.
We can't say too much
so
because it
new.
won't be out for who knows how long.
Yeah, it might be like a year.
Or longer.
Do we have any tracks that can be played?
Absolutely, yes. So what we want to do is we are right now promoting our live show. So
That we did at the Reason Rally.
that we did at the Reason Rally. So we'd like to play 2 tracks. One of them is Make a Believer, and the other one is called Christian Terrorist.
Real quick, can I just rewind real quick? Because this is really cool that what we have coming up here, because we have so many people contacting us from all over the world, and we have people that find us through different various podcasts we do and stuff like that from all over the world. And they always want to know, when are you coming to Canada? When are you coming to Germany? When are you coming to Australia? And we always have to give them the bad news, like, we're just this tiny mom and pop. Like, we can't pay for all that. That's a lot of money. So in order to be able to do that, we would have to, just grow our band, which that's what we're doing. But the cool thing about this video is, so we had all these different videographers, who were there taking video of our performance, and we have worked that. We have really invested time, energy, and monies into making it a phenomenal video. And it's almost done. It's been months of working on it, and it's almost done. It's just going to be this great, high definition, amazing video that finally those kind of people could feel like they're watching us live. They could put this video on their TV and be like, yes, I'm rocking out with Monster Sunday, So I think there's going to be a lot of people who are really excited about this video that's coming out. And here on your show, we're going to show you little sneak peeks of a couple of the songs, just so that people can get an idea of what it's all about. And it was just such a fun performance. It's going to be great.
So I'm curious to hear something. What do you got for me?
All right. Well, we have one that we dedicated to Ray Comfort. I desperately wanted to meet at the Reason Rally, but it just didn't happen. But we dedicated this song to him.
Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah, have a little chit chat.
So this one's called Make a Believer, and let's watch it.
All right, so this next song goes out to a very special person who attended the Reason Rally this year, and that is Ray Comfort. Make a believer out of a word about the Bible. Yeah, it's lied to me since birth. thanks to Ray for coming to this awesome event, by the way.
Okay, so that was our song Make a Believer, dedicated to Ray Comfort. Yeah, Ray! And now we're going to move on, and we're going to go into a really kick-ass motherfucking yeah! Sorry, I'm kicking the camera with my foot. Kick-ass song called Christian Terrorist.
Brainwash messages always around me. Yeah, everywhere I go.
Shit, thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Okay, so that song was called Christian Terrorist, and I love how in the beginning of that song, when we play it live, I say that I get everybody prepped up and ready for the song by saying that this next song is about peace, love, and humanism, and it's called Christian Terrorist. It's just great because it really is actually about that. If you listen to the lyrics, and you can see the lyrics for that song, by the way, all the lyrics for our whole Baby Eater album are on our website at monsteronsunday.com. You're welcome to check it out. But if you do read the lyrics to that, you will see that it actually is about peace, love, and humanism. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. And the
right?
type of music.
Yeah, it works.
The type of music that I most appreciate, I've noticed there's a kind of a recurrent theme in the songs that I made a compilation CD of all my favorite songs, and I noticed they're all kind of the same. There's always a regular kind of a stomping drum, and it's all growly guitars, and so it all sounds either like the theme, like it all sounds either like the theme song for an old monster movie, or it sounds like monsters themselves.
Right.
That's a cool compliment. That's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
Cool.
I like when the guitars sound growling and roaring and stomping, you know, and I especially like guitar battles. How many guitars do you have?
We have me.
He does
Yes,
all the
we-
guitar work. He
Oh.
actually also writes all of the drums and all of the bass parts, and we hire musicians to play what he wrote for our shows.
Okay. Now I met
Yeah.
the band. They're your regular band, right? The ones that you have at Reason Rally.
Yeah, they're our studio or our session musicians and our regular band. They're actually, I don't know if I want to admit this, but they're different from the band that we had on the album.
Every stage is different musicians that we
Yeah.
work with because we're hiring whoever is available.
Well, actually, I guess this is a good part of the story. When we were getting ready to record our album,
Oh yeah, we didn't want it to be like that. We tried to form a normal band where we can get real other atheist musicians into
nobody
our cause.
wanted to be
and-
part of an atheist band. They're like, you guys are an atheist band?
Forget it.
What even is that? No, I can't be a part of that. We tried out musicians after musicians. In the meantime, we wrote this whole album. And so now we had the material done, and we're like, well, what are we going to do?
We have nobody to play these instruments in the studio. No one wants to be in an atheist band. And we're like, we'll hire them. Studio musicians. Learn the shit and play it. And
Yeah.
that's
And so
kind of what we do now
said, fuck finding
for everything.
permanent members. We'll
aren't you
just
guys like in San
go to
Diego.
the studio.
Yeah.
Yes,
You can't find atheists in San Diego.
we do.
Well, atheist musicians that are good,
Okay.
it's slim pickings to find musicians that are good anywhere, anyway. But also atheists and not just atheists, but who want to take part in this mission. Like we're intense. I mean, we have this intense mission. I mean, when
Well-
you're flying across the country to play a show in the name of atheism, if you think about it, that's heavy on the head. Like people think about that shit.
Yeah.
So our musicians, we're very
think about-
lucky to have Cabello on drums and Lee on bass, and they came with us all the way to New York, and they believe in
Not
our
New
mission
York,
enough.
Washington, D.C.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
They look alike.
It's
They're on the
somewhere
same
over
side of
there
the
on the
country.
West Coast or East Coast. I don't know
It's
anything
all
about
one
that
big
East
city.
Coast side.
Let's-
We're on the West Coast,
what's
so that
happening at
East
the end of
Coast.
this interview?
What is going over there? I don't know. Too much beer.
Okay.
But
and you
yeah,
mentioned-
we were really lucky to have them come with us, and they've been very supportive with us so far for our live shows.
Yeah,
And I'm hoping they could be on our next album too. That would be fantastic. They're great guys, and I think they believe in our mission. Who knows?
they're on
what
this
might
live
happen.
album. So
one of the things.
Oh,
that
that's true.
surprises-
They're there.
One of the things that surprises me about you guys only having one video is that everybody in your network of connections is involved in videography. So how is it you only have one video?
How do you know this? Have you been stalking us on Facebook?
well, that's if they want to help us make another video,
I would help you make another video.
Have you made music videos before? question one of many. No, just kidding. We have a screening process.
Okay, well, I'm just going to throw out there that I like to do video editing. It's what I do for a living now.
Really?
Yes.
Have you video edited a rock band before?
I've made some. I'll share with you something after the show that
All right.
that I put together.
Well, I can tell you we would be very interested in seeing that.
Okay.
Yes. That would be amazing. If we could possibly work with people that we know and agree with our mission, it would be great. We are like hiring all these people kind of outside the movement that haven't really heard that there's even an atheist movement going on at all. And it's expensive and it's hard to relay our message. It's hard to get them to, even for videos, it's hard to get them to grasp our vision and understand. And I just think it would be great if there is people that have skills out there like that, that are already passionate about what we're doing and this thing. And it would be great. Yeah, we would love it.
Well,
it would be so helpful.
I'm going to be in San Diego. I mean, this is pre-recorded, so by the time anybody hears me say this, it will already be in the past and things will be done. But at the moment that we're recording this, I'm about to leave on a 5-week road trip, book tour of 20 cities, one of them being San Diego.
I saw that. That is awesome.
So
very excited.
We will be there in the woods on the 3rd
of October.
Yeah, on I think also on the 2nd.
That's really only like 2 weeks. That's exciting. Well, what is it? The 21st or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can. Almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I mean, I would I'd be happy to entertain the thought. Maybe after the show we'll talk about the particulars of it, what you want to do, and maybe I can help bring something about.
That would be rad.
Yep. Love the idea.
Okay.
2 thumbs up.
Is there anything else we need to go over? Anything else we've missed? Because I think we're coming up on an hour now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're coming up on an hour now. Yes.
Couple things real quick to hammer out. Housekeeping type stuff, I guess.
Okay.
On our YouTube, we're also going to be posting a fun tour video that our drummer Cabello took of our whole experience. Sorry. Itching my ear there.
You can tell that you're a married couple because they're like you nudging each other.
I love you. Okay. So, yeah.
I can just imagine that whenever you're driving anywhere, you're arguing.
That's so true. It's more like me just like, why did you do that? And him like, because I'm driving. I don't know. Just that.
Yes, to her, I'm a
every married couple every married couple has to do the side seat driving thing, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the same thing
it's
as
good to know
everybody
that
else.
it's not just me. I was wondering for a while.
What? You know, every girl is like wham 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 about guy driving. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking on the list real quick of ideas. Anything else you'd like to mention?
Yes. So basically, here's the rundown. We're going to be releasing the full concert of our Reason Rally performance. It's going to be coming out in November, just in time for you to share it with your family for the War on Christmas. If you want to help out our band and if you believe in what we're doing, or if you just like what we're doing, please share the videos, go to our website where you can watch it. Even though it'll be on YouTube, you can watch it there. You can pick up merch. You can donate to us, things to support what we're doing and to get cool shit like CDs, T-shirts, bumper stickers, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, that was excellent. And just to add, just like we were talking about that, it takes us a long time process to get things done because of money reasons and life reasons and whatever. But there is a way you guys can help us expedite things. If you guys, I know we get a lot of people like, when are you coming out with your second album? Well, we could do that a lot faster with your help. If you want to just straight donate money, or you want to take part in donating a portion of a video, we could put your name on it. If you would like to buy we have a ton of band merch. We have a whole store actually available for you guys to pick and choose what you would like. Any way that you can help us like that, it literally just expedites things for us, because really that's the main reason that we might put things out a little bit slower, is because, you know, we're just like you. We're just a mom and pop metal shop, really. We make our money in, and the little bit extra we have, we put it all to band. We put everything we have to band after our family. So yeah, any help is amazing. It could help us expedite all kinds of things. And we already do get a lot of help, and I want to say thank you to all those people who have really helped and supported us with donations, and merch purchases are amazing.
And of course, coming to shows.
Coming to shows is fantastic. And also, we really would like to play more shows. So if there's conferences or other things that we can do, just give us a contact. Everything Monster on Sunday is at monsteronsunday.com. You can go there to contact us or find out all the information that you need about anything. And you can reach us pretty much directly through there. And I think that's
very good. And if that about wraps it up, I trust we've said it all.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Aaron, I want to say it was a pleasure hanging out with you at the Reason Rally, and it's great to see you again. And thank you so much for having us on your show, the Raw Man Podcast. And we're just so excited to take part in this, and just we feel like we're so lucky, and it's just such a pleasure to see you again.
I thank you for that. And you're right, it would be about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks before I'll see you. So I'll see you then. I'm going to go ahead and close it out.
Okay, cool.
Steve, Tally, thank you for being on.
Can we do our outro? You want to do our outro?
Remind me, what do we do again?
Okay. Ready? Come on. Monster on Sunday!
All right, let's do it again, because now I remember. All right.
Okay, he forgot, really? This is what we do
I
every
couldn't remember if
time.
I just do yeah, or if we do Monster on Sunday together.
I don't know what you do, but that's what I do.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, can we do it?
Yes.
He's just very entertained by this. Okay. Thank you. Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. This was Monster
On Sunday!
Woo! Yeah! Oops, I flipped him off.